We're at 13 minutes already.
We're at 13 minutes. But we also talked about that list. So what is it like, you know, who writes a list of their ideal husband? That's like, you know, we've heard it. Like, where did that come from? Was that from like
I think
I Kissed Dating Goodbye, that book?
Oh.
Or something. Like, I don't know.
Sure.
You know, you always hear it in
everywhere.
Everywhere.
Like movies, pop culture, like in the new age. There's other spiritual people who do it.
Okay. So even before you were a Christian, did you have a list?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
It had over 70 items.
70 items. Okay, so what happened when you became a Christian? What happened to your list?
The list has since been deleted. Oh. Well, yeah, so a lot of those items were okay, but they were like 80% nice to haves. So it were just things that weren't necessarily necessary and just things that I like really wanted or would be like a cherry on top, but they weren't like essential. And my list now is like probably less than 20 items, which maybe still feels a bit long, but most of them are like essentials.
Yep.
And I just want to leave a lot of room for the Holy Spirit to work and not restrict my mind, because what if like the person that God has for me doesn't meet the items on my, you know, false list, and then I'm going to be like disappointed or like just misled when the person is like, you know, good for me. And I think, I don't know. No, I'm just rambling.
I've actually heard, like, I've met a lady who said she wrote her list. She even wrote like how tall he was and what he looked like, and she actually married that man. But she did say she had to say no to a few people in the lead up to actually meeting that man. So it's really interesting, like, you know, if you do have a list, like, how much do you trust that
it'll be met?
Yeah, it will be met. Like, it's in faith there as well, and not compromising on your list. But another interesting thing that I've also heard was that you know, you have your list, you write your list, and how many of those things on that list do you meet as well? You know, it's, you know, we're not just like writing a wish list. Like, at the same time, you know, there's probably a guy writing his list.
Exactly. And it's like, is the person of your list or on your list going to want you?
Yeah.
And is someone who is like nice, funny, smart, you know, ambitious, blah blah blah, are they going to want someone like you? And you don't have to be really like condemning about it or like intense about it, but just try your best to be that person, I guess.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's so interesting. I would say I have rewritten my list as well, and it's definitely it's very simple stuff, I would say. It's like essentials, which you would probably say most Christian people would want on their
Can we
list.
hear like one or two items from your list?
Okay. Yeah. Well, obviously.
Revealing a bit here.
Yeah, I think on my list was definitely God-fearing and loving God above all, you know, because that just makes sense. Like, you know, that order needs to be right. I also put trustworthy and honest. And these are all, you know, standard sort of things, but I realize at the end of the day, that's what I want. I want a companion that is trustworthy, is a friend. And the big one was that vision, is that vision that the Lord
aligned purpose.
Yeah, aligned purpose, because it's really a struggle when you're not aligned, and you'll feel it. And if you're struggling and feeling that right from the beginning, maybe pray about that one.
That's well said, I think. Yeah.
What about your list? You're not getting away. Like, I said some of my list.
I'll say some of mine. So the number one thing, to be no surprise, is like their faith, how like passionate they are for the Lord, what their spiritual life is like. And I think they have to have like.
What do you mean by that, though?
I think I would say just someone who just is really dedicated to wanting to seek the Lord and never wants to stop getting to like know God better, and wants to really serve God with all of his heart. And that looks different for everybody, and not everyone's going to be called to be like a global evangelist or like a pastor, even if that just means like, I don't know, like ministering to the people in your community, whatever that is for you, but as long as you're fulfilling that out with your whole heart. And I think someone who has a genuine relationship with God, and it's not just like mind and head knowledge, but they actually have that like heart transformation. And then I guess like a sound biblical foundation. Like I think some people are like, yeah, I love Jesus so much, and that's beautiful, but then like in terms of what they believe, it's pretty crazy. So yeah, I think that's quite big for me. And then other more general things, I would say I want someone really like kind-hearted and compassionate, someone who really cares about like making a difference and caring about like the people in our society that are like a bit more unseen or like disadvantaged, and then someone really like fun and funny and probably a bit more extroverted than introverted. I think, yeah. That's
Are you extroverted or introverted?
I would say so. Extroverted for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think two extroverts would be good together?
Yes, but not too extroverted. As in, like, if they're just like way too charismatic and extroverted, then maybe that's also a bit of a turn off. I think maybe we have to be the same level.
Yeah, same wavelength.
Yeah,
I would agree. I would say I probably would not be able to rest if I dated an extrovert, because I'm pretty extrovert too. So I don't know, maybe a bit of a balance.
Yeah.
Someone to ground you.
Is there anything on your list? Do you have like a deal breaker section?
Well, obviously they don't love God, but actually there was a few things like, you know, I don't know, you know, just like my views on certain aspects of faith. It was a deal breaker. Yeah. So, you know,
that's good. Yeah, you're allowed to have that preference,
because, and maybe, you know, it was like they had different revelation to what I did, but I could not see us functioning if we had very different views, for example, on the topic of healing, you know, and then just practical wise, you know, having a family and all that stuff. So that was definitely a deal breaker, and you know, it's important to actually talk about those things, because if you're imagining down the track, like in the beginning everything was great, but when you got to those harder topics,
that's where it gets tough. Like it gets really real, and I think that's why, for me personally, I like talking about that stuff in the beginning. It saves you a lot of heartache, because there's no point in getting attached and developing feelings, and then later down the line you find out their beliefs don't align with yours, or they're straight out unbiblical. Like you said, like if it's someone that believes healing is not for today and Jesus doesn't heal people anymore, do you really want to be one flesh with that person? Because like that's what marriage is. Like you're literally becoming one flesh with them, serving the Lord as one instrument. And then if one half of that is thinking certain things, it's going to be very difficult to actually be fruitful for the Lord and like serve Him.
And you would always sort of feel like, well, I personally was feeling, I don't really feel that I would be able to sort of grow more if that was already like their sort of view.
Exactly.
But I guess, it's a tough one. It really is tough. Like, because I guess you're not going to meet exactly the same person as you, but I think there has to definitely be a streamline of the direction of your values, and then the smaller things you could probably talk through and like, you know, work through those smaller aspects. Definitely.
There's a lot of stuff that like God can also just change through prayer with them. I know this girl I follow on Instagram, and she was talking about her list. And something that she had down, which feels so random and almost silly to us, is like blue eyes. But she just like, it's something that she desired. And she wasn't going to write it down, but the Lord kind of like pressed her to put it on her list. And I kid you not, well, this is her story. She's saying that her husband, he used to have green eyes and his eyes changed to blue. How crazy is that? And there's photos of him as well when he used to have green eyes.
And it changed to blue. That is so funny.
And
Wow.
So I guess that's just something that like God's not going to do it for everyone. He's not going to go and change your husband's features like left, right, and center. This is just like one example of something cool happening for someone. But like He really does hear our desires, and
and I think I don't have any like major physical things on my list, but I did at one stage have a vision of like of a child with a particular color eye.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, my eyes aren't that color.
Yes,
so
yeah.
I was thinking, but
Very
see,
interesting.
that's something that I will confirm in the future. But I'm not going to reveal what color.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. I don't really have too many physical things on my list either. I think that's kind of unnecessary, but I just said that I obviously want to be attracted to them,
Yes.
so I guess God will work out the rest of it.
Exactly. And like, you know, I would like someone taller than me, but I'm pretty short, so it's not that hard.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah. Okay, so shall we rate the ice cream?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. All right.
I've still got like this much stuff. You have so much.
I have so much. It was like, I can't. Yeah.
Eat and talk.
And I've just been trying to lick the top, but anyway, it's still pretty decent. Not fully melted.
Okay.
But
Rating time. I'll do a drum roll.
Okay, so I really like this. I'm gonna give it, because of the uniqueness of flavors and the texture was quite bitey and not melty all over the place, and the customer service here was great. It's very friendly. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Great variety of flavors, unique, very tasty, subtle as well. And remember, this is a fruit flavor. I go for chocolate normally most of the time, or a nutty flavor. This is melon and feta. So for me to go for this as the go-to flavor, it's pretty good. You guys gotta come. You gotta come to Hakiki and try all the melon and feta. Okay, what about you, Mansi?
My answer is going to be the exact same as yours, which is
Why?
and I'm not just copying you. I actually thought of that before you even said it.
Yeah.
It's because to me this is like near perfect. I almost want to give it a 10, but I feel like I'm going to save that.
Yeah, save that for the
Something
10
like
out of 10.
perfect.
Yeah.
And this is pretty close to perfect, honestly. I recommend everyone to come here. I will definitely be coming back again. Yeah. Love it.
Awesome. Okay, well, that's the end of our ice cream chats. Our tagline is, God is good, and so is ice cream.
I didn't know that. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. God is good, and so is ice cream. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Come back.
Anytime. Bye.